guys, welcome to another episode of podcast with me. I'm your host Moon and you are watching Moonlight Guidance. Namaste. This part is in continuation with my earlier video on interviewing Mikel Vaughn on the glaring issue of drug addiction. He is a counselor and substance use disorder specialist based in California, USA, targeting substance abuse amongst men and women. Winning awards is just a testimony of his passion and commitment towards this cause. You can click here the link to watch previous interviews. It's an interesting and informative series. Viewers, you may like and share this video so that it reaches to the people who are seeking this information. And if you are a new viewer here, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon for future notifications. You can also help us grow through the thanks button placed below this video. Today I am very inquisitive to know, why do drug addicts and alcoholics use drugs and drink alcohol the way they do? Why they are so obsessed about it. Let's get back to our expert, Mikel Vaughn.
Drug addicts and alcoholics use drugs and drink alcohol the way they do because their mind and their body is demanding them to do so. At least that's my opinion. Their mind and their body are demanding them to do so, and they don't have control over what their mind and their body are telling them to do. They've lost the power to choose, much of anything in concern to alcohol and drugs. That's why it says step 1 in the 12 steps says that they have admitted to themselves that they're powerless over their addiction. Dash, that their lives had become unmanageable. Their lives meaning their mind, right? Their mind, their willpower, they lost just so much of that. Their lives had become unmanageable by them. So, why they started using drugs at first or drinking alcohol at first is a separate problem. It's really not even a problem using drugs or drinking alcohol, once. But yeah, what usually happens, and I already said it once, is that they find out that it relieves them from some kind of anxiety or depression or trauma, or fear or whatever. It relieves them from that stuff to such a great extent that they fall in love with the drug or the alcohol, and then once they start doing it more, they become physically dependent, mentally dependent, and then full-blown addiction kicks in. And once you're in full-blown addiction, it's just an automatic process of craving, obsession, and then the use. You wake up, you crave the drug, you obsess over the drug, and then you go get the drug. And they lost the power to choose. It's very difficult to just sit there and tell your head no when it's demanding you to go get more drugs thousands and thousands of times all day long. Eventually you're going to give in, right? And then finally the people just, they give in the second it tells them to. They do whatever they got to do to get more, right? So yeah, they lose the willpower to choose to not do it. Pretty much, it just becomes automatic. So that's a separate problem. The easiest way I can put it is they drink and use the way they do because their body and their mind are demanding them to do so. At least over here, I don't know there, it's a disease. It's classified as a disease. They used to classify it as a moral problem, and then they found out that that was no longer true, to a great extent at least. It still applies in certain aspects of it, but the general opinion of the alcoholic and of the drug addict by doctors is that the alcoholic and the drug addict are doomed. That they're doomed, that there's not much hope for them. The only hope for them is to have a spiritual experience. And sometimes people are like, oh, awesome, I go to church. And what this doctor, there's a story, in 1939, or 1939 when this book was written, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, this doctor said, you know, you have no hope. You know, you've been to the hospital for alcohol poisoning, alcohol addiction, you know, 5 times in the past year. You know, there's no hope for you. I can't help you. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. You need to go have a spiritual experience. That's your only hope, is to have a spiritual experience, a psychic change, a personality change sufficient enough to bring about a new experience with life. These real, you know, this real big thing has to happen, you know, in your life, and I can't give that to you, but that's your only hope. And this guy says, awesome, well, I go to church. And the doctor's like, no, you're not hearing me. You need to have a spiritual experience, you know, a spiritual awakening. The amazing thing is that guy went and he had one. He went to a group back in the early days where they had a process, you know, Basically what they were doing is they were tired of people going to church on Sundays and then going home and beating their wife and kicking their dog. You know, they were tired of people being hypocrites. So they started having meetings to where they would take these people through a process, and the first step was to surrender to a higher power. And they would help them do that. They would help them see why it's logical to do that in relation to how their life is going, ran by themselves or ran by their mind, right? They would show them why it'd be beneficial to surrender to a higher power and to come to believe in a higher power and then surrender to it, right? The second one was sharing their story. Being totally honest, sharing themselves with another person, sharing their story, the whole thing, all the hurt, all of the pain, all of it, all the secrets, everything. The third one was restitution. They would go and apologize, sincerely apologize, and be willing to make right everything that they've done wrong, and apologize to all the people that they've hurt, and be willing to do whatever they could to make it right. The fourth was guidance. So they would sit in prayer and meditation on a daily basis in the morning, and they would receive guidance from a power greater than themselves. The last one is taking others through that process. So it was surrender. There was 4 spiritual activities. It was surrender, sharing, restitution, and guidance. And they would take people through that process. So once you've been through the process, you should take others through the process. Easy answer to that question also is just that they have lost their willpower. They show an utter inability to leave it alone. It's become an obsession. I kind of explained earlier, it's like having OCD, where you have to tap the doorknob 25 times, spin around in circles to the left 8 times, to the right 8 times, and then you feel comfortable enough to walk through the door. It's a mental obsession and a physical craving. So it's just very, very powerful.
Thanks, Michael, for briefing the Alcohol Anonymous process. Friends, let's catch up on our next videos. For that, please keep the notification bell on to get future alerts from our channel. Michael's social media handles are mentioned in the description box below. You can comment down with any of your query or reach out to any of us in relation to this topic. Please encourage us by subscribing, liking and sharing this video. And thank you very much for your lovely donations. Namaste.